Whether out of revenge, anger, or pure intent, things get seriously rough here. From horrific accidents, disgusting acts of revenge, to fouls that nearly cost a player his life, we're showing you the 20 most absurd fouls in football history. Can you still bear to watch by the time we get to the top 3, or will it be too much for you? Let's dive straight into the action with an outburst of rage. Number 20. For his actions against Mario Balotelli, Francesco Totti not only received a red card, but was also banned for 4 games. In the 2010 Coppa Italia final, when 19-year-old Balotelli dominated the match and drove every opponent mad, tempers flared. With a trophy on the line and less than 3 minutes of regular time remaining, Totti's team trailing 1-0, he completely lost it. Even the fireman in the background thought,
che se ne va in mezzo a due, lui passa.
That's dirty. The craziest part of the story? Totti admitted afterward that it was completely intentional. He wanted to get back at Balotelli for his insults. The next brutal foul came from one of the nicest players in football. Number 19. It happened during Tottenham Hotspur's match against Everton in the 2019 season. In the 78th minute of the game, Heung-min Son caused one of the most painful injuries you can imagine. Although he tried to get the ball, he was far too late and caught Andre Gomez's ankle instead, twisting it completely in the opposite direction. The players panicked and fans who saw it up close were left in shock. Son received a red card and broke into tears, as he never intended to injure his opponent. I just want to hug him. And if you'd forgive him too, give this video a like. The next brutal foul came from one of the nicest players in football. Number 18. Trailing 3-1 at home, it's fair to say Sergio Aguero wasn't in the best of moods. But in this scene, his anger boiled over as he brutally lunged at David Luiz with both feet. This foul earned him a 4-game suspension. Compared to what the Brazilian endured, that's nothing. Luiz later revealed in an interview that the foul caused him problems for 2 years. Aguero simply lost all control in that moment. In the next scene, we'll see a player get hit by karma after nearly ending Aaron Ramsey's career. Number 17. On February 27, 2010, Stoke City faced Arsenal in a match where tensions were already high after both managers admitted they hated each other. But no one could have anticipated the horror that unfolded. Ryan Shawcross lunged into Aaron Ramsey, shattering his leg into pieces. One player even claimed to have heard Ramsey's leg snap from the bench. Shawcross was immediately sent off and handed a 3-game suspension. Arsenal's entire coaching staff believed that the 19-year-old Ramsey would never play football again. Thankfully, they were wrong. Ramsey made his comeback 9 months later and went on to play 6 more seasons for Arsenal. Shawcross, however, was hit by karma. After openly admitting years later that Ramsey's injury hadn't affected him emotionally, Shawcross found himself in a similar situation in 2019, sidelined for 4 months due to a calf injury. That looks painful, much like this kick from the usually composed Thomas Muller. Number 16. During a UEFA Champions League match between Ajax Amsterdam and Bayern Munich, Thomas Muller tried to channel Karate Kid as he stretched his leg to control a high ball. Instead, he ended up planting his studs into Tagliafico's head. The Argentine left-back played the rest of the match with staples in his head to stop the bleeding, but managed to carry on. Muller, however, had to watch the remaining minutes from the dressing room and received a 2-game suspension for his reckless foul. But this foul is nothing compared to what Kevin Muscat did, earning himself an 8-game ban. Number 15. Adrian Sara suffered significantly from this foul. Just watching it is enough to make you wince. He needed knee surgery and couldn't play football for an entire year. Many Australians believe this foul effectively ended Sara's career. For Gavi of FC Barcelona, things almost turned out even worse. Number 14. Gavi nearly lost his ear during a match against Osasuna. Unfortunately, we can't show the foul because the scene was just too bloody. The 19-year-old required immediate medical attention on the field. His ear had to be stitched up, a process that looked excruciatingly painful. Andre Orosana from Honduras didn't just injure one opponent but managed to hurt 2 at the same time.
¿Qué pasó con André Orellana? Ahí va. No puede ser.
Pero esto no solo es para roja.
He deservedly saw red, just like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Number 12. In September 2021, Manchester United visit young boys Bern in the Champions League. After Cristiano Ronaldo scored, United were leading in the 34th minute, but the game turned on its head, and this moment was the reason why. As Bissaka tried to reach the ball, he had pushed too far ahead. He clattered into his opponent, Christopher Martins, with such force that even watching it made people wince. The referee, after a quick consultation with VAR, sent him straight to the showers. Bissaka received a 2-game suspension for this foul. It seems he also wanted to try his hand at being Thomas Muller as the Karate Kid. Number 11. Things got heated in the Europa League match between Slavia Prague and the Glasgow Rangers, but Prague seemed destined for the better outcome. Kim Ruffy was desperate to win a long ball at any cost. In doing so, he struck the opposing goalkeeper, Ondrej Koa, on the head with his studs. Experts later explained that a slightly different movement could have had a 95% chance of killing the goalkeeper. Ruffy was sent off and given a 4-game ban, rightfully so. Number 10. In a 2021-22 clash against Tottenham Hotspur, Robertson scored the secondary goal for Liverpool with a header. While celebrating, he was struck in the face by Emerson Royal. The Scotsman shrugged it off and celebrated, but things didn't end there. The incident seemed to take a toll on the left back, as just 10 minutes later, in the 77th minute, Robertson retaliated by taking Emerson Royal down with a reckless kick. Referee Tierney reviewed the incident on the monitor and promptly showed Robertson a red card. Leandro Castan of Vasco da Gama nearly committed what some might call attempted murder on the football pitch. Number 9. In a match against Bahia, Vasco da Gama was awarded a free kick. As the ball was whipped into the box, players jostled for position. And in the chaos, Leandro Castan slammed his studs into opposing goalkeeper Douglas's face with full force. Initially, Castan joined his team's celebration after the goal, acting as if nothing had happened. But when the referee reviewed the incident, Castan was shown a red card. He stood there in disbelief, seemingly unable to understand what he had done wrong. Just as speechless as we are that you haven't subscribed to us yet. Feel free to drop us a like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Manu Trieros seemed intent on breaking Messi's legs. What else could explain such a reckless challenge? Number 8. The referee didn't hesitate to send him off after this brutal foul against Barcelona's captain. Moments like this help us understand why Messi had his legs insured. They're worth €750 million after all, not something to take lightly. It seems Lopez thought €750 million was a bounty on Messi's legs. Number 7. That's certainly what his actions make it look like. Lopez later denied acting intentionally, not that he could have admitted it. Such a claim would have landed him in serious trouble. Number 6. Our next candidate took the term gritty play to an extreme. Yes, it's Luis Suarez. He bit Giorgio on the shoulder, leaving an actual wound. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe this kind of action. And let's not forget, this wasn't the first time Suarez had done something like this. Giorgio, however, took it surprisingly well, saying it happened, and that's just how he deals with disputes. In a way, we're quite similar. I enjoy clashing with my opponent. I like his cunning style. If he loses that, he'll just be an average striker. To me, the guy's got rabies. During his time at Schalke, Alexander Nubel often attempted to imitate Manuel Neuer, but it didn't always end well. Number 5. In a match against Eintracht Frankfurt, Nubel rushed out of his goal in the 66th minute to contest a long ball aimed at Frankfurt's Gacinovic. The Serbian attacker reached the ball first, but Nubel went all in, leaping recklessly with his outstretched left leg straight into the attacker. No need for VAR here. Nubel was immediately shown a red card. Gacinovic had to be treated on the field and was rushed to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with severe rib bruising. Luckily, it wasn't worse. When talking about fouls and injuries, we have to mention Abu Diaby. Number 4. This reckless foul was just one of the many reasons why Diaby faced yet another setback. He holds the record for the longest injury history in football. In fact, Diaby missed more games during his career than he actually played, a truly unfortunate distinction. After this particular foul, he had to undergo 3 surgeries and was sidelined for over 8 months, but he never fully recovered. Over his career, the Frenchman spent an astonishing 1,747 days, nearly 5 years, injured and unavailable to play. For the top 3, let's travel back to October 14th, 2006. Number 3. In a match between Reading and Chelsea, Peter Cech suffered one of the most terrifying injuries in football history. Just 20 seconds into the game, the attacker collided with Cech's head, resulting in a severe skull injury. The goalkeeper was sidelined for 2 months, and from that point forward, he wore his iconic protective helmet for the rest of his career. Hunt was devastated over causing such a serious injury. The same can't be said for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Number 2. Zlatan Ibrahimovic was out for revenge. Playing for Juventus against Inter Milan, Zlatan was focused solely on scoring goals, but Marco Materazzi seemed more interested in taking him out of the game. Following a brutal foul, Zlatan could barely walk, but his ego wouldn't let it slide. He was determined to settle the score. He didn't get the chance during that game, as his coach subbed him off to prevent any further incidents. Yet Zlatan never forgot the foul. Years later, when the two crossed paths again, Zlatan finally saw his opportunity, but Materazzi, in a way, pushed Zlatan to seek payback. Zlatan could hardly believe it when Materazzi was once again the one fouling him. Okay, everything was set, and it would be settled as soon as he came close. Oh my god! This kick to the chest and the elbow to the face sent Marco Materazzi straight to the hospital. Ibrahimovic was allowed to continue playing. Years later, he admitted in an interview that it was all intentional. But the most brutal foul in this video nearly cost a player his life. Number 1. To understand the rivalry between these two players, we need to go back to 1997. Alf Haaland was playing as a right back for Leeds United, while Roy Keane was one of the best midfielders at Manchester United. As Keane was charging toward goal, Haaland stopped him with a tackle. Keane fell to the ground in pain and needed medical treatment. However, Haaland thought that Keane was faking an injury to gain an advantage. He stood over him and demanded that Keane get up. What Haaland didn't know was that Keane had actually torn his cruciate ligament. Keane missed the remainder of the season and never forgot what happened in that match. 4 years later, in April 2001, the two faced off again. Keane wanted revenge. With a brutal foul, he knocked Haaland to the ground. Keane was immediately sent off, fined £5,000 and banned for 3 games. A year later, Keane admitted in an interview that the foul was intentional. "I had waited long enough to get my revenge. I hit him hard and said, 'Never mock me again or accuse me of faking an injury.'" Now imagine what happens when all that anger is channeled into hard work to become one of the best players in the world. Here are the very unusual training routines of your football idols. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the video now. See you soon!